Good evening, everyone. Welcome to the 11th Annual Celebrity Chef event. I'm your host, Chris Kulak, Vice President, Chief of Development and Strategy here at the Visiting Nurse Association. A couple of housekeeping things. Remember, grab your program out of your box. It's got a list of all of our committee members and our sponsors and some great information about our chef. Also, make sure you grab the menu, and on the back, you probably already figured this out, but there's the reheating instructions. It's got those in there as well. And then the party favor, it's a towel, a little cheese grater, and then the bottom of this is some cheese. So make sure you grab that. If everybody can do us a giant favor and make sure you keep yourself muted, and make sure you don't share your screen tonight, that'd be great. We're gonna give everybody about another minute to join the call. We know that there was some of the deliveries a little bit delayed, traffic and so forth. So we just want to make sure everybody's set. So we're about another minute, and then we'll come back and get everything started. Thanks. Can you still see me? All right, welcome back, everybody. Thank you again for being here with us to the 11th Annual Celebrity Chef event. My name is Chris Kulak. I'll be your host this evening, Vice President, Chief of Strategy and Development here at the Visiting Nurse Association. Again, a couple of housekeeping items. Make sure you grab your program. Again, the menu and the reheating instructions were in your packaging. Remember the party favor. Again, the towel. The bottom of this is a block of cheese, and then the cheese grater. And just really thank you for being here. You know, a year ago when we had this event live here at the kitchen, nobody really knew what was going to happen 12 months later. Honestly, I think it was one of the last fundraising events in person in the city of Dallas before everything shut down. And so really going through that process of figuring out how we're going to do it this year, I want to say thank you to Julian and Eric Clark and Catherine and Will Rose, our co-chairs for tonight. A lot of what you're going to see tonight, the packaging of the food, all of the items that came to you tonight, all the way we're doing this virtual event is really a lot of their brainchild. I just want to say thank you. They've been amazing. They've been really fun to work with, and we really appreciate everything they've done for us. Also, I want to thank Shelley Hagar, Andrea Hagar, and Shelley Hudson for being our honorary chairs. I think everybody in Dallas probably knows the food company pretty well. It's an amazing organization. There's a lot of events in town that have they do a lot of work with. They have been a part of Celebrity Chef from the beginning, for 11 years. There's a lot of what we could not have done with that event without their help. So I just want to say thank you to them. Thank you to our host committee, for everybody that has joined us tonight. The host committee has done a great job. Again, you can take your program. They're listed inside. You can also see all of our sponsors in here. You know, collectively, between the Cocktails in the Kitchen event last night and this event tonight, we've raised a little more than $640,000 so far for Celebrity Chefs. It's amazing, honestly. It's really a tribute to the fact that we're not doing this in person. We're doing it virtual, and we still had wonderful support. I do want to have a special thanks to Della and Bob Best, Lida Hill, and Trio Community Meals. You guys were our top sponsors this year. Super grateful for everything you've done. Can't really thank you enough for that. Last but not least, Chef Jules, thanks for being here. We really appreciate you being a partner with us this year. I've had a chance to taste the food. I know a lot of you at home have started cooking that and eating it, and it's going to be amazing. Just really appreciate your friendship and your partnership this year.
It's been a lot of fun. Yeah. And my pleasure to do it.
Cool. Cheers. Thank you very much. So to kick off tonight's events, I'd like to introduce Catherine Krause, our president and CEO. She's going to deliver a short message about the Visiting Nurse Association and all the wonderful work we do. Take it away, Catherine.
Welcome to the 11th annual and first virtual celebrity chef event featuring Chef Julian Barsotti. I'm Catherine Krause, President and CEO of the Visiting Nurse Association of Texas. I'd like to take a moment to share the VNA mission and how we have delivered hope to the most vulnerable in our community for the last 87 years, and in particular, the last 12 months. At our core, the Visiting Nurse Association provides care and connection for homebound seniors across North Texas. At our core lie thousands of volunteers and a staff of 300 with servant hearts. Our mission is to help people age with dignity and independence at home. Our team provides hospice and palliative care, nutritious home delivered meals, and a personal connection for our clients to help combat loneliness and improve overall health. We've been at the front lines of community-based care since 1934. We deliver meals to more than 4,500 homebound seniors and thousands more at area senior centers and homeless shelters, nourishing bodies and souls. Daily, we care for more than 300 hospice and palliative care patients at a sacred time at end of life. Throughout VNA's history, the compassionate care we provide has been unwavering, even amidst a global pandemic. Thanks to you and the generosity of so many in our community, we've been able to hold strong, delivering on our mission each and every day. At the beginning of COVID, we quickly adjusted the Meals on Wheels delivery schedule to protect those we serve and volunteers and staff, while still providing a week's worth of meals and serving as a lifeline to homebound seniors through virtual deliveries, which essentially are wellness calls made by volunteers. The outpouring of support from our community makes me extremely proud to be part of this community. From generous donations to take more seniors off of the waiting list for Meals on Wheels, to handmade greeting cards, sewing masks, and supplying PPE, you have delivered hope to isolated seniors and seriously ill patients. Thank you. Our clinical hospice and palliative care operations continued with staff making in-person and telehealth visits and providing interdisciplinary care to meet patients' needs. Our music therapists provided much needed companionship, therapy, and support to patients, caregivers, and staff with front porch concerts and singing telegrams. It was all hands on deck last summer and spring. And once again, during the snowstorm, and with hospice aides, social workers, and chaplains delivering meals and calling to check on our homebound elderly. As part of our continuum of care, we administered 500 in-home flu shots to help our clients and community members stay healthy. Recently, we began partnerships with Texas Division of Emergency Management, the Texas National Guard, and the local fire and rescue departments to administer COVID-19 vaccines in the homes of our Meals on Wheels clients. The clients we serve through Meals on Wheels are the most vulnerable in our community, especially when it comes to COVID-19. They are elderly and homebound, do not have access to technology for scheduling most of the time, suffer from multiple chronic conditions, and reside in areas most impacted by the pandemic. We connect with the elderly in our community every day, bringing hope, food, resources, and now this life-saving vaccine. The nourishment, body and soul we provide through your generous support is even more important as we continue to face the uncertainty of the pandemic. At 83, Meals on Wheels client Ollie is now retired after working in Dallas County Food Service for 27 years and another 3 with the Salvation Army. Her heart for service continues as she cares for her bedbound son, who is also a recipient of Meals on Wheels. Ollie enjoys both the people and the food from Meals on Wheels. These folks are just so friendly and the food is good too, says Ollie. I know how hard it is to cook good food for a bunch of people, and you guys do it right. When asked about how the pandemic has impacted her, she shares, I know God has a plan, but I don't understand it. I've lived through an awful lot in my life, but I don't think I've ever experienced something that has hurt so many people all over the world. I keep praying for this vaccine or a cure so that people like myself and my son will be okay. Ollie has a strong faith and is grateful for the visits, the food, the cards, the care and the love provided by VNA. Thank you for your support and for joining us as we celebrate the work we've done together, and we look forward to the future with hope as we continue to deliver and care for those in need. Thanks to you.
Thank you, Catherine. Really appreciate that. I want to reiterate my thanks to each of you, our board, our volunteers. Speaking of volunteers, thank you to everybody that was able to deliver and help us deliver the meals tonight. Really grateful for that help. Our staff, and of course, all of our many donors over this past year. Really, you've made a huge difference in our ability to continue to provide care to our seniors during the pandemic. Now I'd like to once again introduce Julian, Eric Clark, Catherine Will Rose. Take it away.
Hi, I'm Julie Clark.
And I'm Catherine Rose.
First, thank you so much to our host committee for supporting the VNA and its mission. Thank you also to the incredible VNA team, Robin Plotkin, Jennifer Atwood, and Chris Kulak, for their amazing planning and flawless execution of this event. And we are truly beyond grateful to our honoree, Jules Barsotti, and honorary chairs, Andrea Hager and Shelley Hudson. You have supported this event for over a decade with your culinary wizardry, and we are so very thankful. It has been a complete joy to work with all of you. A toast to you.
When we started this adventure a year ago, we never imagined we would not be sharing this meal with you in person. But here we are, and we love that you made time to dine and Zoom with us even from afar, and that because of your generosity, you have helped this event secure an unbelievable success in a year when our senior citizens and homebound individuals need us the most. We are grateful to each and every one of you for participating in this event and joining us virtually. Cheers to each of you.
When we moved here 6 years ago, we got involved with Meals on Wheels program through my daughter's NCL chapter. We were immediately hooked and signed up for a regular route. The connection we established with the seniors on our route is undoubtedly the highlight. We have sung holiday songs, dropped off pumpkin pies, Valentine's cards, and Christmas bags. Whatever the need, we have been honored to serve such an amazing organization. Thank you for letting us be a small piece of a very large puzzle that helps so many in need.
Time and time again, the VNA and Meals on Wheels steps up to serve the most vulnerable in our community, and they do it with dignity and compassion. It inspires long-time commitment from volunteers and donors because it makes tangible, positive differences in the lives of its clients. And we love that this year's event highlights the incredible talents of our hometown hero, Julian Barsotti, in such a challenging year for so many, especially our friends in the restaurant industry. We are so very happy to highlight your creativity as we break bread together virtually. Now, back to you, Chris.
Julie, Eric, Catherine, Will, thank you. Really appreciate again, all your support this year. You guys have done amazing work. We really couldn't have pulled this event off without you. So we're here in the Haggerty Kitchen. This is where we'll do a quick tour. This is where we make all of the meals that we serve through our Meals on Wheels program, as well as through our senior centers that we support here in Dallas County. So this is one of our tray lines. This is where all of the meals, if you've delivered Meals on Wheels, it's got one of Julian's cool prints on it. He's going to move that. This is where if you've delivered Meals on Wheels and you've seen the little trays that the food comes in, this machine actually seals those. And as they prepare the meals and put the food in this, it rolls through. Do about 30 meals a minute on this machine. This piece of equipment costs about $60,000 to give you just a perspective on the size and magnitude of that. We've got 2 of these that we operate while we're making meals. We've got 11 ovens over here. These, I'll just open one of these up so people can see inside. Again, this is where we bake. The kitchen staff from Trio use these to bake items for our seniors. On Thanksgiving, it's almost like 780 pounds of turkeys and about 600 pounds of cornbread dressing in these ovens on that morning. So they're used every day when we're making meals, which is great. Back here is a kettle that is used to cook vegetables. And then we have a tilt skillet back here. So again, a very large sort of commercial kitchen that we operate here. We do about 6,500 meals a day out of this kitchen. And that includes both the home delivered meals and the congregate. And then we have a partnership with the City of Dallas Office of Homeless Solutions. So we use this kitchen every morning about 5 o'clock. Our crew comes in, starts making those meals, and then they get delivered out in the morning. So one of the things that we want to do before we go back and see Jules' demo is to do a quick poll. And the question's going to be, and it'll pop up on your screen, different options to answer is, how many meals did we make out of this kitchen last year? So total number of meals, how many did we make out of the kitchen last year? I think they're tallying the numbers. I see Jennifer nodding her head. She can't hear us because she has her headphones on. But so again, while we're waiting on that, if you have any questions for me or Jules throughout the program, go ahead down at the bottom of your screen. You'll see the little chat feature. Click on that. You can type in a question. We're going to do a little question and answer after we do our demo here in a few minutes. So we got the answer. So the answer is 1.4 million meals. So if you got that right, great. We do about 1.1 million home delivered, and then about 300,000 for the congregate and homeless centers. So thank you again for indulging us on that poll. We're going to have another one later. But right now, I want to introduce really the star of the show, who's become a great friend of ours and really become a great friend of VNA. And really, Jules, we just cannot thank you enough for being here tonight. We're super excited to hear your stories, to see your demo, to really learn a little bit more about all your concepts that you're doing here in Dallas. And really, take it away.
Thanks, Chris. Ciao, buonasera, generous donors and friends of the VNA watching at home on the magical internet machine. First, I'd like to thank Robin, Chris, Julian, Catherine. Worked with you guys over the last several months, and this is obviously a first for this event in terms of format, and everyone's been optimistic and fun and very easy to work with. Next, I would like to thank my mom, Shelly Hudson, her business partner and almost one of my family members, Andy Hager, and Honor Aiken, the chef of Food Company, and the staffs at Nona, Ficini, and Carbones. You guys have done all the heavy lifting. They actually let me act like the celebrity chef and just do the planning of the menus, and they did the bulk of the hard work. I'm super honored to be this year's celebrity chef because I think this really is an important event and something that supports a truly worthwhile cause. This year for everyone, goes without saying, has been challenging. I would say personally, it's been the most tumultuous year of my life personally. And I think that really highlights how important the work that the VNA does. And I was thinking about this on a personal note. I've always kind of thought about how seniors are, for whatever reason, devalued in culture in general. And I think the hospice work and the meals for seniors is truly an extraordinary and virtuous thing to do, as well as the Meals on Wheels program in general. They asked me to talk a little bit about my own experience during the pandemic. So like everyone else, I went through, the initial shock was on a high level, and we kind of, you have the fight or flight tendency. We decided to fight. And I mean, the original idea was to keep people employed and quite frankly, stay in business. I mean, restaurants were in some of the most precarious spots of any industry, I think. And what we did from the very beginning was kind of rely on our center of base, and I think this translates to any business, including the VNA, which I think what makes the VNA special is there's lots of people and there's lots of charitable organizations with good intent, but there's a huge difference between charitable organizations, businesses in general, that are very well organized and well run and therefore effective. And being around these guys, I have really learned how well organized they are and how they're able to execute their mission, which isn't always the case. So in our case, we immediately the idea was, first, let's start making comfort foods that people recognize and love, nothing precious, nothing special, and then thought of things that traveled well. And that was kind of the base idea. Let's do this. Let's make delicious food. I'm lucky enough to be someone that truly loves to do what I do and surround myself with a bunch of wonderful people. And we started pivoting. And one of the first things that we did was an idea from one of my close friends, Glenn Collins, in order to help me out to try to keep people employed again and figure out another outlet for commerce to keep us alive. And that was Rita's and Queso, which really seemed to hit a chord early in the quarantine. You guys out there know how much all of us Dallas Texans love chips and queso and margaritas. And it is truly our hometown comfort food. Since then, we've done several different iterations. The most important are the most significant of which is Grape Ape or Grape Ape, which is a kit of Italian-American comfort food and frosé and wine. Next, I'm going to give you guys a quick bio about myself if you don't know who I am. For the most part, I was born and raised in Dallas, Texas, lived in New Mexico for a little bit, went to school in the Midwest. And while I was at school, I started cooking. Growing up, I was I thought I was an aficionado of food. I loved food. I was around a professional kitchen with my mom a whole lot. And food was just something that was always a focal point. The next meal was something that was truly important to my family and to me. And so while in college, I decided that I wanted to become or try to become a professional cook, moved to San Francisco immediately after graduating, and had the lucky opportunity to work with some extraordinary chefs in San Francisco, Berkeley, and Oakland. And specifically, I got to work for someone that I aspired to work for named Paul Bertoli and immerse in all things Italian, which are connected to my roots and just was my intellectual curiosity for sure at the time. In late 2006, I moved back to Dallas, and I had the idea that I knew how to cook this certain type of Italian food that paid homage and alluded to the true regional Italian food of Italy. And basically that's what I'd been doing in San Francisco. And I knew how to cook the food. I really didn't know how to do anything else. My mom and Andy believed in the concept, and 27 of the time, and it from the very beginning, it was one of those cool things where people, without any press, without any marketing, started to gravitate towards it. And what I'm proud of at Nona is the original idea was handmade pastas, a wood burning oven, and a menu that evolves every day. And we've kind of stuck to those principles for almost 15 years now. And I feel like it truly has evolved, has never stopped evolving. Since Nona, I opened Carbone's Fine Food and Wine, casual Italian-American joint, Sprezza, a Roman trattoria, and Ficini, which is a swanky, fancy red sauce joint. I've also worked as the partner chef with American Airlines for all domestic first-class meals. I don't know if I'm as proud of that one, but it was a fascinating experience. And I have worked with the great people at Central Market as the consulting chef for Passport Italy. This year, I'm doubling down, and I've got some really exciting new projects, concepts, joints. So look out for those. If all things go right, we'll get them open before the end of the year. So for tonight, we talked about this, and we wanted to figure out something that worked felt right with the VNA. And the theme we came up with for tonight's meal is the Festa di San Giuseppe, aka St. Joseph's Feast. I thought the meaning behind the feast really fits in well with the mission of the VNA. St. Joseph is Mary's husband, the earthly father of Jesus, and a champion of the poor and of the worker. So the story goes in how the feast became a tradition in Sicily, and then later the New World, was in the Middle Ages. There was a terrible drought in Sicily, and the people prayed to St. Joseph to bring rain. And the rain came, and the crops flourished. And ever since then, on a yearly basis, March 19th, which we're close enough, it's the 24th, the idea is this feast that everyone is welcome to eat as much as you want. It's a celebration of community and original in gratitude for one another is the way I interpret it. And I thought it was kind of cool thematically and bridged a lot of gaps. So where I'm going to transition this into what you guys are eating and what we're doing is St. Joseph's Feast is now celebrated in the United States. It has been since the early 20th century, and primarily in New Orleans and throughout the Northeast. What's interesting about New Orleans, the French Quarter was once called Little Sicily, and both Ellis Island and New Orleans were the largest ports of entry for Sicilians coming into the United States, which is something that I didn't know, and I learned when I was doing research for Ficini a few years ago. I've long been fascinated with that late 19th century migration of Southern Italians to America and what role food plays in their history and their culture. For the most part, those immigrants were fiercely familial, and gatherings were communal and framed around meals. And something that I've always, like, a curiosity for me, and this is something because I get so into this stuff and I want to communicate it to you, is how the food changed from when they went from Sicily, Naples to the New World. So the foods are reminiscent of those regions, Sicilia, Calabria, Puglia, Campania, but a good way of communicating that is dishes that everyone knows, iconic dishes: spaghetti and meatballs, veal parm, baked ziti, Caesar salad, which I'm going to demonstrate to you guys a recipe for later, Chiappino, to name a few. Those things do not exist in Italy, yet they've become iconic dishes, not just in the United States, but worldwide. I feel like Italian-American food in its own right is an incredible regional, cultural American thing. And it's often overlooked that it's not Italian. Italians don't eat, eat those items, and generally has become its own culture, its own tradition that's evolved in its own way. Tonight's meal, I feel like, very much encompasses that idea and follows the red sauce trail from Southern Italy to the United States. So what you guys are eating is typical American antipasto, which I feel like is Sicilian somewhat in roots in terms of olives, pickly items, garlic bread, which in Sicily would be slightly different, mozzarella, which is of, which I'm trying to say it in the Italian-American vernacular, which would be from Campania, Naples area, salumi, and then your next course is something that I've particularly been interested in for a long time. Like the Sunday gravy, the Sunday ragu is kind of like a sacred tradition in both the Italian-American and the Italian household. And I think this is a good way of articulating the difference between the two foods and cultures is when ragu napoletana, which is what it's based off of, is essentially cucina povera, food of the poor. And you get to eat it once a week on Sunday. And it would be a muscle cut of meat that they would long simmer in tomato sauce. Then the family would eat pasta with the tomato sauce. And then as a second meal, eat the meat itself. What you guys are eating tonight is kind of, to me, encapsulates like the Italian-American robust, hit you over the face with delicious traditions. There's meatballs, there's veal, there's sausage, and there's a lasagna, and you eat all that stuff together. I don't think it's gratuitous. I just think it's great in its own right. And it really demonstrates, to me, it demonstrates, and I find it fascinating in terms of how the culture, like how food culture weaved itself into the immigrant culture from the Italians moving to the United States in the early 20th century. Next thing before I do the demo, next thing I want to talk about a little bit before I do the demo, I want to tell a couple stories and something that I've gotten into in the last few years more is kind of making, like, Italian-American food has so many wonderful cinematic and musical allusions. And as I was preparing for Ficini, I really tried to immerse myself in those thoughts. I mean, I truly would watch, I love The Sopranos, but I would watch it nightly, listen to crooners all the time, creating a soundtrack, the Drifters, the Kinks, Howlin' Wolf, the Supremes, Roy Orbison. And in music and soundtrack, and I feel like I've gotten this feedback a bunch at Ficini, is trying to create illusions of like, that was, House of the Rising Sun playing in Casino when it hits at the right time, and a guy's wearing a Casino making tableside Caesar. It enhances the experience. And speaking of, like, everyone knows these, like, Italian-American food more than any other cuisine in terms of cinema. Michael executing the police chief at Lewis Italian-American restaurant, Clemenza saying the iconic line, "Leave the gun, take the cannoli." In Goodfellas, when Henry Hill's describing cutting garlic with a razor blade so thin that it melts into the sauce and makes the perfect tomato sauce. And in that same movie, last scene when he's cooked out of his mind and he's making Sunday gravy with his brother while being followed around by an FBI helicopter. And the last one, and my favorite depiction of Italian-American culture, is David Chase's The Sopranos. I feel like the layers of nuance, authenticity, and humor are unmatched. Gabagool, The Pork Store, Ziti, Artie Bucco, the ridiculous restaurant Nuovo Vesuvio. And one thing I'll articulate that I thought was so funny in that, in his nuance and his understanding of true Italian-American culture, there's this scene where Tony brings Christopher and Paulie, whose name in real life is Tony Sirico. Tony Sirico was a real mobster, as a side note, which is interesting. And so they're at this dinner welcoming them in Naples, and they serve a pasta that's squid ink and I think clams. And Paulie's like, "What is this?" Like, "I've never, get this out of my face." And the Italians say in Italian, where Paulie can't understand, "These guys are less sophisticated than the Germans." And I feel like it's a true understanding of the difference between Italian-American food and Italian food. One last prop-driven Italian-American experience that that I thought was meaningful and I thought would be cool to share is, to me, arguably the most iconic, amazing, living Italian-American is Tony Bennett. And the last 3 times he's been in town, he's eaten at Carbone's. And obviously that got me super excited. Wasn't there the first time. The second time they called me, and I did a drive-by, and I saw him in the window. He's wearing a beautiful sharkskin suit, just looked impeccable. And I guess during the meal, he was sketching the entire time. And I later found out that Tony Bennett loves to draw and he loves to paint. And at the end of his meal, he presented the waiter with a sketch of the waiter. And the thing that I think, and I made the waiter give this to me, the thing that I think is particularly cool about this is he signed it Benedetto. He signed it Benedetto. His true Italian name is Antonio Benedetto. Here, I'll show you there. Antonio Benedetto. The next time he came in, I came into the restaurant. And twofold, this was great. I've always I love dressing in costume. Like I told you, I like to pretend like I'm an Italian-American that I'm really not. I'm a Texas Italian-American, but watching The Sopranos, like I'm in a little bit in costume right now, wearing a gold chain and, a velour Fila shirt. But this time came in and I met Tony. I was wearing a Fila tracksuit, and like to my elated surprise, he was wearing a tracksuit in the tradition of the great Italian-American as well. And I met him and his wife shared with me some interesting things about him. It doesn't matter if he's in Cleveland or if he's in Tucson or if he's in Montreal or in Dallas, he eats spaghetti and meatballs for his meal. So he decided like Carbone's was his spot. And I was, at that time, we were about to open Ficini. I described it to him, and this was I made me feel like a total idiot. I was like, just, you know, mid-century Rat Pack, you know, fancy red sauce. And he like looked at me like, what are you? He invented the genre, which obviously made me particularly dumb. It made me feel particularly dumb. Shared that, and then here's a picture of that evening, which I thought was, he just looked so cool. All right, on to the demo, and this will be quick. So this is how to make a very, very, like I call it a cheater Caesar salad. This is a little bit different than what you guys are eating at home. What you're eating at home creates emulsions, is chef restaurant stuff. So first thing that we're going to do is I have a mortar and pestle. I'm going to mortar this piece of garlic. This could just as easily be food processed or chopped. Garlic is mortared. Next, we're going to put a little bit of red wine vinegar in here. And squeeze of lemon. What this does is macerate the garlic, which takes like the raw, unpleasant heat off of it. Next, good old Hellmann's mayonnaise. Just a few scoops of this. It really does matter for it to be Hellmann's or at least Duke's mayonnaise. Mayo, maybe a little bit more for that amount of salad. Then the secret ingredient of Worcestershire instead of real anchovy. Oops. Some water to thin it out a little bit. Some Parmigiano Reggiano. Salt. Black pepper. We will add the garlic, red wine vinegar, and lemon. Mix. A little bit of extra virgin olive oil. Touch more water. And that is it. And I will add it to our lettuces, which are basically, they're gem lettuces, which are basically baby romaine. Some croutons. And if you guys really are interested in the recipe for this, please reach out to us, and happy to provide it. I'm telling you, I mean, it really, really is delicious. And then last but not least, a little bit, excuse me, clean that off, of grated cheese. And it's done. Chris?
Cheers.
So
while you were doing that, I'm gonna have to tell my wife when the next Amazon order comes to our house, it's my new Fila tracksuit. So I mean, you know, might as well get one of those. Good casual way to go. Yeah. But no, it looks great. And thank you again, really. I know we've got a poll question we're going to throw in, right? So, and I would have never guessed this one. This would have been on the SAT. I would have got it wrong. So, in what city was the Caesar salad invented? So Jennifer's gonna, I think people are gonna answer the questions, right? Just get her thumb up. Just going through that process. So has Tony Bennett come back lately?
He hadn't been back since I think a couple of years.
Okay. That's a cool story though.
Yeah, that's true. How I was describing Ficini.
He's like, I invented that.
Yeah,
that's great.
That is me.
That's hilarious. Still voting. Okay, good. People are interested. All right. Okay. All right, couple more seconds. I think, what did you say? It was a tight contest, Jennifer? All right. All right, going once, going twice. All right, Chef, hit us with the correct answer.
So the question again is, where was the Caesar salad invented? It was invented in the early 20th century in Tijuana, Mexico by Cesare Cardini at his proprietary restaurant Cardini's, which is still open today. And I think it's fascinating, something that was never has been served in Italy. Obviously he was Italian and translated, but it's probably the most famous salad in the world now, recognized as being Italian or Italian-American, and it's from Tijuana.
It's amazing. What was the number one guess? New York was the number one guess? No,
yeah.
That's not that. So we're going to take a couple questions. I know I'd said earlier to put any of those questions in the chat feature at the bottom. And so Jennifer is going to read out a couple of questions. We'll repeat those and then go from there.
Sure. So, and outside of Tony Bennett, who is your favorite unique guest at one of your restaurants?
Right, so outside of Tony Bennett, who's one of your favorite, most unique guests at one of your restaurants?
That's a good question. Probably Jerry has been one of the most colorful.
Yeah.
All right. What's your favorite dish at Ficini?
Another good question. Probably the veal marsala.
Okay.
Yeah. All right. And Chris, this is for you.
Okay.
How much does it cost to take one person off of the waiting list? Meals on Wheels.
Okay. How much it costs to take one of our Meals on Wheels clients? We have a running waiting list of people waiting for service.
It's about $4,000 per person. That would be where they're stay with us. It's about $1,000 per client.
That's awesome. Okay, let's see. What are your top food pantry items, like must-have?
All right. What are your top pantry items? Like
what's everybody
pantry?
Good similar pasta, Parmigiano, and black pepper, which everyone has. He's got ketchup right there. One of the most Roman pastas that there is.
That's awesome. Chris Kulak, this one's for you. Can you wear a bow tie and a feel a tracksuit asking for a friend?
I'm thinking it might look cool.
So the question was, can I wear, because I know Chris wearing bow ties, can I wear a bow tie and
Feel a track.
You can collar over.
Yeah.
Just kind of do it around the neck.
What's your favorite food city?
Favorite food city?
Yeah.
That is another great question.
Hard to argue with. LA. Hard for me to decide. Maybe right now.
Can you hear?
Okay.
Can you tell us about that?
Oh, yeah.
Sure. This is something that I told you I get excited about. Allusions to my favorite Italian American shows and cinema. This is Jonathan Maxwell, who has worked for me for 15 years with one apartment since it's been open. He's a dead man from Tony Soprano. He's a good guy to have him back. And so we staged a shot of Tony and Paul in front of the door store with Jonathan smoking a cigar and sun. Wow.
It's cool.
What's happening with volunteers and bringing them back?
Sure. So during the pandemic, we had to scale back and we're social distancing. So right now we're doing 2 days a week. First week in April, we go back to 3 days a week. So Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, we'll allow volunteers to help us out. We've had a lot of volunteers coming back in the last month. I think everybody's getting their shots and we're comfortable with coming back. We're excited about coming back today. Who knows if I'll be in the summer, maybe back to July. If you have not signed up to be a volunteer, visit our website, learn a little bit more about that. We'd love to have you come out and volunteer.
Let's see. Dinner is outstanding, they say.
Cool.
Still having trouble. So just
Any more questions?
what's your favorite food to make
Any more
at home?
questions? Hey,
What now?
What's your favorite food to make at home?
favorite food to make at home?
Ragu. I like that. But you guys are at home, and we switch it up all the time. But I do love the Sunday tradition of making a gravy and it's or a ragu.
Can you tell us a little bit more about work that performed with VNA seniors?
Sure. So in October, early September, October,
last fall, we actually went out and delivered flu shots to our clients. One of the things we try to do is not only just to deliver the meals, but also sort of give them, that daily safety check. Are there any health issues that they have? And one of the things that a lot of seniors need is, and we all do, is a flu shot. Certainly this year there was a big heightened need for flu shots. We didn't know what that season was going to be like. So we actually sent out our hospice team to give flu shots to people September, October. And then we use that as kind of a model. And so over the last couple of weeks, we've been working with the Texas Division of Emergency Management. We've been partnering with them, and we identify clients. We put those clients in a schedule, and then they work with the Texas National Guard and local EMTs to go out and provide those shots. And so we've done that in a couple of locations here in Dallas County. We're about to do a with the city of Dallas to really expand that. And our goal is to really provide any of our clients that say, I would like you to come deliver or come to my home and give me a shot. Our goal is to go out and try to give as many of those shots as we can. We think it's important that everybody gets a vaccine, and a lot of our clients, a lot of the seniors we serve, it's really difficult for them to get to these locations and mega centers. So we're excited about that.
And I think the last question is, how has the aging population of seniors impacted your hospice programs?
How has the aging population of seniors impacted our hospice programs? So, I think that as, there are 10,000 seniors turning 65 or older every day. And as that progresses and as people get older, the need for end-of-life care is becoming bigger, is becoming a greater need. And so our hospice program, we cover all of North Texas. So Meals on Wheels, Dallas County, all of North Texas for hospice care. We've seen great growth in that program. And we want to be the leader in that. We've one of the oldest hospice programs in the state of Texas. And it's been an important part of what we do. Okay. It's all right. No more questions? All right. So we have some raffle items to give away. I want to thank Astrid Merriman, who's been a part of Celebrity Chef since the beginning. She secured our 2 raffle items tonight. I'm going to turn it back over to Julie and Catherine, and they're going to go ahead and give those draw the names or give those items away. Take it away.
All right. Okay. Our first item for the raffle, and thank you so much, Astrid. We truly appreciate it. But our first item is this adorable Fendi Clutch. Can you all see it? It's so cute. We all wanted one. And congratulations to Kit SARS. You won. Okay, so we are going to be, the VNA will be in touch with you, Kit, to tell you the details of how to receive your item. And now to Catherine for the next item.
And next up, we have a Beverly Hills shopping spree, including airfare for two on Southwest Airlines, a gift card to Spago's, hotel stay at the Four Seasons, and a shopping spree at Saks Fifth Avenue. And the winner there is Sarah Campbell. So congratulations. The VNA will be in touch with you about how to redeem and receive your items. We are so grateful for all of your support. And Julie and I want to make sure we also acknowledge the people who showed up this afternoon to help deliver all of the meals to all of you participating in the event. It was a logistical wonderstorm of beyond imagination. And we're just thrilled that everyone was able to get their meal, and hopefully everyone's enjoying a delicious dinner courtesy of Jules and his team. So thank you all.
Thank you.
Back to you, Chris.
Oh, I think we're back on. So just amazing. Thank you, Chef. Really couldn't have done this without you. Really appreciate you, the food company, everybody, everything you guys did for us. Thank you very much.
It's honestly been an honor. You guys at home, one pro move is the lasagna, let it rest. Makes a huge difference huge difference if you let it rest before you cut it. And then all of those meats that you got, you can cut them up, mix them together, and then smother them on top of your lasagna is the pro move.
There you go.
And so, tutti a tavola, a mangiare. Centani.
Yeah. And thank you. Really, thank you to our co-hosts. Thank you to our chairs, our honorary chairs, all the donors, everybody at home tonight. Really, thank you for joining us. Hope you enjoyed it. Hope you'll continue enjoying it. I know you guys all have a lot of different parties that are going on. So thank you very much. Have a great night. Chef, cheers again.